We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic Tuesday as we get started and bring you into again, it's going to be a phenomenal show. It's going to give you so much insight into all of the chaos, the nonsense. But as you already know, my name is Tyrone Glover, and I'm the Dress Down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. Thank you, everybody, for giving us part of your Tuesday. We are always so grateful. Happy belated Memorial Day to everybody who has, again, given that greatest of sacrifices, and to their families. We know you missed them, and we know you appreciated them, and we equally as well. As a veteran, I salute, and I always give my gratitude and recognition to our veterans, the families, everyone out there who does their part. So thank you. Again, the Dress Down CEO, and I'm here to help you leverage your score. I'm here to help you get on point, get on track, do what you must do to make sure that you can make it in these times of chaos and crazy. Because it is, believe me when I tell you, it's beyond normal. Okay, beyond normal, but I'm not going to, again, dive into the heaviness of it. I'm going to keep it real simple. We got to do better. We just got to do better. We have to hold our elected officials accountable. We have to make sure that they're catering to the needs of our most vulnerable, those of us as myself who are a bit more resilient and have the means and the wherewithal to do even more. I'm going to continue to keep doing what I can do to strengthen our youth, make sure that they have the platforms and the footings to move forward, do what I can do for, again, those most vulnerable of our population, our seniors, making sure that they equally have footing and ground to, again, get through these day-to-days. Our most vulnerable, it's sad that you have to watch these politicians who, again, they get all of the conveniences and all the luxuries of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, but yet when it comes to extending that very same understanding to those who are desperately in need, it's about a debate. It's about a deal. We shouldn't be cutting any deals. We should be doing what's right. Bottom line, period. Doing what's right. Paying our bills is what's right. Bottom line. You want citizens to pay their bills. When I get that AT&T bill, when I get that Verizon bill, when I get that Optimum bill, when I get those credit card bills, when I get those bills, I don't sit there and go, well, you know what? I got a lot of money in my bank, so, I'm just not going to pay. I'm a default. Matter of fact, I'm going to call the company. I'm going to have a back and forth debate with them. I'm going to cut a deal. Well, y'all need to stop cutting deals. You Congress people, you need to stop cutting deals, because life is not about cutting a deal. It's about making sure that our most vulnerable have. Just that simple. But as I stated, that's going to be another topic for another day where I'm going to go on a complete and utter rant. And it's going to be professional. It's going to be on the up and up. But today, we're going to make sure that we are talking about what you should be doing to make sure that you're leveraging that score. And we are going to be focusing on what are credit building transaction tools and methods. Credit building transaction tools and method. If you are not using these strategies, these understandings, you're not creating building. You're not building. You're not doing what is necessary. You have to really focus on, am I building? Is my money working for me? And if it is, 2 thumbs up. If it isn't, you have to reevaluate. Debit and cash are not building transaction methods. Bottom line, they will get you to purchase, and then the institutions that understand it, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go out and they're going to build their business. They're going to build their entity. They're going to build upon what you give them with your debit and cash. But I need you now to focus on building yourself, building your financial knowledge, your understanding through financial literacy, becoming financially intelligent, and using the proper building transaction tools and methods. Once you do, I'm telling you, you'll be set. You will be set. And once you get there, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful understanding. And I'm praying and hoping that everyone who gets this will be there. So please leave your questions in the comment section. We are making sure that we are paying attention to, as we missed a couple last time we were on, and we don't want to do that because your questions are so important. All right, so we can, we must, we will improve the financial lives of the working poor and middle-class citizens of our country. They're the most vulnerable right there, the working poor. How can you be working and still poor? That's an oxymoron. How can you be a middle-class citizen and still not be able to see those steps to that next level? How? These Congress people need to start addressing that. We're watching day in and day out as our resources are being manipulated by the companies that we are so giving, as I say, giving our resources to. Being deceived by all of these entities that claim that they're helping the people. The only one that they're helping is they're helping themselves. And we as individuals now need to equally start addressing that playbook. We need to start helping ourselves. And the only way we're going to do that is to have individuals. It's not about you knowing everything. It's about knowing people who know people who know people. If you try to attempt to know everything, you're going to just drive yourself crazy. You're going to drive yourself crazy. But if you know people who know people, your net work is going to improve your net worth. All right? Your net worth is going to improve your net worth. You got to get on board with that, folks. Because if you do, I'm telling you, it's going to make life so much easier for you. All right, so some of the methods that you're going to be using when it comes to securing, again, credit building transaction tools and methods. You're going to have to use secured cards or unsecured cards. These both build. They build. Secured and unsecured build. Secured is meaning you're securing it with your own resources. Unsecured is meaning that you're borrowing. All right, borrowing and evenly with secured. There are understandings and contractual relationships that you must adhere to. But if you do these properly, I'm telling you, it's going to pay off. You're going to find yourself in a much better financial situation because this shows the financial integrity that you have for yourself, that you don't want to be considered someone who doesn't meet their obligations, their current and their past obligations. You are someone who's building out a platform that's going to allow for not just you, but those who you're following in your footsteps. The market of credit building transaction tools and methods have exploded with dozens of already available and new ones appearing literally every day. But what do these tools, methods actually do? Can they help you build or recover from credit hardship, and are they worth the cost? What are the best ways to build credit? Right? So there are so many different tools, things that you can use to help you get out of whatever financial crutch circumstance that you might find yourself. But if you're not using them effectively, then guess what? It's not going to help. If you constantly think that, oh, I'm just going to go and drop that debit card down on the table, oh, I'm just going to go in that wallet and pull out that cash, you're going to set yourself up for failure. And this is what we've been taught. There are important questions for everyone trying to build or recover from credit hardships. And we're going to take a closer look and see how you can make sure that you're using your product in the best possible way. All right, credit basics. If you are considering using credit building transaction tools and methods, it's important to understand what your credit score is and where it comes from. So these 3 key points is going to help you with maintaining a understanding of, as I said, the basics. The basics. We don't want to bring you into all of this algebraic math or statistic math. We just want to keep it real simple so that you can navigate through the simplicities prior to anything being more complex. Because if you can navigate through the basic stuff, you're going to almost set yourself up for full success. Okay, full success comes when you're in that 800 area. That's full success. That means that you have now navigated through whatever the issues are. You now have a better interest rate. You're now living the life of a financially responsible individual. But in order to get there first, you got to understand these basics. Your credit score is based on information in your credit report kept by 3 major credit bureaus. And I've said it before, I only keep that word in there so that I can constantly keep reiterating that a bureau is an associated word that comes with Equifax, TransUnion, Experian because we were taught that they were part of the United States government. They're not. These are for-profit entities that make billions of dollars off of our backs. Because they won't do anything to enhance or create a process. And if you don't believe me, go back to any congressional committee that brings these CEOs down to, and I believe it's the Financial Committee that brings these CEOs down and constantly are slapping them around, constantly giving them the 411 on why their practices and their best practices have caused more harm than they have good. So don't think for a second that Equifax, TransUnion, or Experian are there to help you. These are businesses, and businesses do one thing and one thing only. They make sure that their bottom line is secured. And since you are now a business, since your business is now your household, every individual that might be listening or paying attention or have brought someone in or may have a question later on, remember this. You are the CEO of your household, and you need to operate in such a manner. Because if you're not, the businesses that you're doing business with, trust me when I tell you, they're operating in that manner because they know that, oh, you're going to keep coming, you're going to keep buying, you're going to keep doing what they require of you because you don't have the understanding that you don't necessarily need to have a white outfit for every white party. You don't need to go out every single weekend. You don't need to make sure that everything in the household is all spick and span and super duper clean and whatever. Again, you need to start thinking about how you're spending that money. And if you do, I'm telling you, it's going to pay off. And if you're using the right building transaction methods and tools, you're even going to make that much more of a headway, much more. So it's really important. The information in your credit report is contained in trade line reported by your creditors. All right, those trade lines, positive or negative, those are trade lines that, again, had to have to say this, you don't even have to have those trade lines. They're just doing it for a monetary reward. No one said that, oh, by the way, every trade line or every transaction is now going to have to be reported. No, it's not, because all 3 of those credit reporting agencies, they don't ask each one of them to report. Why? Because businesses have to pay a fee to any one of them. So Target might say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to go to Experian. Macy's might say, hey, you know what? I'm just going to use Transaction and Equifax. Okay, Victoria's Secrets might say, well, I'm not using Transaction or a TransUnion or Equifax. I'm going to use Experian as well. So each one of these companies gets to decide who and whom they're going to do business with because it's all about a fee. Oh, yeah, you didn't know that. Yeah, I'm just enlightening you to something that we should know about. Me personally, if they're going to report it, then they report it to all 3, regardless. Because when I go shopping, I never know what that borrower that lender may ask me. Well, we only do our credit reporting through TransUnion. Well, I don't do business with TransUnion. So most of my reporting goes to Equifax. Well, if they're not using Equifax, then how is that going to help me? It's not going to help me. So it's really important to make sure that these entities are doing the business of the people, not the business of their business, which they, again, as a business, they must take care of that home. They must take care of the business. And I get it. I understand it. But if that taking care of their business is affecting your business, then you need to know a little bit more about these companies. Credit scoring companies like FICO and Vantage generate credit scores from this information using proprietary scoring models. So they get to use secret models that they don't divulge or share with you as to how your score is going to be or is going to impact you. So you think that's fair? Well, let me rephrase that because I don't like using that word fair. You think that's honest? Do you think their algorithms and their AI is going to do something that's going to actually help you, the citizen? Well, I'm here to tell you, if you said yes, you are dead wrong. There are different scoring models. You may have credit scores, and they use different information in different ways. You have many credit scores, and they use different information in different ways. This is not making this up. You can Google anything that I'm telling you right now, and you probably come up with a plethora of variations of how this information is being explained. But I guarantee you one thing, it's probably all the same. The variations may differ from verbiage, words, nouns, pronouns, and things of that nature. But overall, they're using different information in different ways that's going to basically impact you and how you're being seen. So you need to get on top of this, and you need to get on top of this like yesterday. If you don't understand credit scores and how they work, take some time to learn about them before you start looking for credit building tools. Okay? If you don't know how your credit score works, take some time. Get to know the entities get to know what am I going to need prior to getting out there in the world. Before you start buying a car, before you start shopping for any products or services, make sure you understand these entities. Because if you do, it's only going to make your life that much easier. As a teacher, I'm talking to my kids all the time. Not my kids, because I don't have any kids, but I'm talking to my students all the time about these importance, about these things that you need to know. And this is probably the reason why they don't offer it in our K through 12 understanding. Because they would rather have a society that's dumbed down to the dumbest of where they can take us. And only a select few have the information. And again, the rest of us sit there and we wonder and we squander and we think and we hope and we pray and we do all of these things that are not going to get us to where we need to be. All we need to do is stop, make the time, and execute the task. So it is stop, make the time, execute the task, and hold individuals accountable. So what does credit building transaction tools and methods do? All right, credit building transaction tools and methods are designed to place new trade lines or records of credit activity on your credit report. That's it. That's all they do. And if you're doing it in a manner in which it is beneficial for both parties, growth is the only outcome. Your credit score is based on the trade line recorded on your credit report. If you have no or very few records on your credit report, there may not be enough information to generate a credit score, and that's a good percentage of the population. They don't have a score. They haven't used credit building transaction tools or anything in that regard, so they don't have the score. They don't have the ability to even begin to go down that path. But those of us who already do, have you gone back and made sure that your information is correct? Credit building transaction tools and methods may be able to add enough information to generate a score or improve your score if you're using it properly. If you're using it properly. And the best way to use things properly is to be informed, well informed about how to use these items. Allocating your items is one of the best ways of making sure that you're using your products properly. If you don't know how, trust me when I tell you, you need to reach out to Tyrone and I'll explain it to you full in detail. There are 3 types of trade lines. Revolving credit trade lines are accounts which you can draw on continuously up to certain limits like credit cards. They revolve. they revolve. If I use from zero, I max it out. Boom, I take a zero amount and say we're going to keep simple numbers, 1,000, and I max it out. And then I bring it back down. Clearly, I don't want to bring it back down 25%. I don't want to bring it down 50%. There's a standard, there's an industry standard which says 30%. But based on your credit score, you may have to adjust that a little bit, just like with anything. Just like with anything, if I'm cooking something and I'm like, still missing something, I might add a little bit more salt. I might add a little bit more pepper. I might add a little bit more sugar. I might add a little bit more whatever it may need to enhance the flavor. Same thing applies when it comes to your credit. You may have to add a little bit more in order for it to finally do what it needs to do in order to start generate that growth. So revolving is one of the best ways and methods in which you can use, because a lot of us don't have these other options, like an installment. And installment credit lines are loans which you borrow once and pay back in monthly installments, like a student loan or a car loan. If you have gone to school and you've got a student loan, then I'm sure I hope you are in a deferment, because you've still got this debate going on as to who and when and why and how they're going to help students out with that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, almost $3 trillion in student loan debt. All right, that's an installment. That means you're paying monthly to bring down the principal. That also equally is attached with some interest. Car loans, same thing. Mortgage, same thing. But those two that I'm just getting ready to mention, car loans and mortgage, most of us don't even have those. So how do we build without those two? Well, we use the alternative trade lines and we use the revolving. Alternative trade lines are relatively new developments. So that means there's a lot of new companies out there offering alternate methods to building one's credit. But the best thing and the only thing that you really want to walk away with is that you're holding them accountable to making sure that they're reporting it properly. If they're not doing that, then you're giving them all of your power. And this is what's been happening over the course of our existence. We've been giving these entities because we're so unprepared and unaware of what we should be doing. And since they've removed it from our academic facilities, we're getting this information much later in life. But as I tell my clients that I see on a regular basis at the Yonkers Public Libraries doing our Talk Finance with an Expert, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how young you are. It matters that you want to improve upon your financial intelligence and your financial literacy. So alternate trade lines are relatively new developments. You can now report rent and utility payments to credit bureaus. Again, I wanted to keep that word in there, bureaus, because I want you to understand that they have nothing to do with the federal government. Nothing. These are for-profit entities, and they're going to make their money. And they're going to make that money. That's all they care about. They use AI, they use algorithms, they use whatever newest, latest technology to prevent us from receiving the proper reporting that we're supposed to. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you hold them accountable. And if they can't do what they need to be doing, then we as people need to make sure that they are not doing any harm. These accounts are neither revolving nor installments and are considered open trade lines. But you want positive open trade lines as part of your credit profile. Credit scores modeling prioritize revolving and installment accounts, and some models don't consider alternative accounts at all. Even if they are on your credit report, they may not affect your credit score. So again, make sure whatever is going to end up on that credit report, positive or negative, okay, whatever's going to end up on there, that you know whom and how it got there. And if you do not, you got to start challenging these things. And a lot of us do not challenge because we're so afraid. Afraid of what? What? Somebody's going to arrest you? Somebody's going to throw you in jail? Somebody's going to penalize you? You do have rights. You have rights. Don't be afraid of people who call you behind a phone. Don't be afraid of mail that comes in the mail. Don't be afraid of none of this stuff. You need help, call Tyrone. You need help, dial in or chime in to Soul City Network on Tuesdays, on Thursdays, where my good dear friend, Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse, also talks about Wealth Nation, making sure that she is giving you the best of what she can give. Tune into these programs. Understand why those experts, including myself, are out here giving you all this knowledge. We're giving you this knowledge for free because we want you to be better. If you want to be better. If you want better, then do better. It's just that simple. There's no other way of getting around that. You want better, do better. Now there's no excuses. You can't keep every day getting up or every week saying, well, nobody's helping me. I don't have the ability. Nobody's really giving me the information. Google us. Find us on Facebook. Guarantee you'll have no problem. No problem locating us. Access Wealth Nation, Anaj Enterprise, Tyrone Glover, Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse, Soul City Network, Leverage Your Score. Google those things, and that, again, it will pop up the people and the entities that you may want to start seeking out to help you get to that next financial understanding, that next financial blessing. So, how to choose and use credit building transaction tools and methods. Each credit building transaction tool and method will place one trade line for one type of credit report. All right, so Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, again, they have to pay a fee. Target, Walmart, wherever it is that you get a trade line from, they have to pay a fee to report that too. It's not just a one-off. They can give you that credit card and not have to report it at all. But in order to make money, in order for Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, Vantage, and FICO, my FICO, Fair Isaac Corporation, in order for them to make money, guess what? They had to attach it to something that gave them the profit mechanism to allow for them to become these mammoths of giants when it comes to exploitation of consumers' data. There are two ways this can happen. Reporting existing accounts, credit building transaction tools and methods, which report rent, utilities, and subscription payments, will take existing accounts, which you are already paying, and place them on your credit report. Now, rent and some utilities, again, subscriptions, be very, very careful. What I'm finding out is rent does not report. There's only one, and there is a method. If you guys email me, I'll make sure I send that out to you. If you drop in a quick question, I'll make sure I get it out to you as well. But send me your email and I'll send you over that link. And it's also in my Linktree. Linktree. Definitely go to the website, look at the Linktree. There is a link to how you can add your rent to your credit report. It's very important. It's super, super understanding. There used to be one out there called Rental Karma, and they used to only report to Equifax, TransUnion. They used to only report to TransUnion, not Equifax. They used to only report to TransUnion. I don't know if they're still in existence, but I believe they are. But here's my question for Congress. Congress, why is it that you would allow our mortgage to be reported, but you won't allow our rent to be reported? Mayors, elected officials, we got elections starting to come up. I know here in Yonkers, there's the primary. There's a couple of individuals that I already know who are jumping in, throwing their hat into the ring. And that question is going to be posed at, for me at least, I'm going to be posing that question to a lot of these elected officials as, again, their platform. They want to help us. Well, here's one way to help millions of people. Make it law. Make it law that our rent must be added to our credit reports. If our mortgage can be added, if our car loans can be added, if our credit cards can be added, if only the particular things that can be added that benefit the entity, then this needs to be added to benefit the citizen. Rent must be added to the credit report so that individuals can pull themselves out under these types of situations and circumstances that we're in. They need every bit of leverage that they can get. So Congress, elected officials, mayors, whatever position that you may hold within a governmental understanding, you need to start thinking about how do we really impact the citizens. That's one way to give them a huge leg up. Huge. You want to argue about whether or not they have work requirements for food assistance. Well, if you live in New York, where it's one of the most expensive states in the whole wide world, if you live where, again, individuals don't make enough, then the government has to step in to make sure that those citizens have at least the basics. Minimum wage, according to Robert Reich, who just put it out there, hasn't been raised in almost 12, 13 years. The federal minimum wage is still $7.25. Congress has raised their salaries, an abundance of times, but yet they can't find the way to raise the minimum wage. Now, I get it. Coastal cities are going to obviously need a little bit more, no question about it, and those inner cities may not need. But come on, people. Come on, $7.25. It's not enough. It's not enough. Adding new accounts, other credit building tools will add entirely new accounts to your credit report. All right. So as you go from one item to the next item to the next item, all we're asking is that you make sure that they're getting added properly, that the information represents who you are. And if it's not, you got to challenge it. You're not going to dispute it, because a dispute in the dictionary means I didn't do something. I'm disputing something that I did not do. Challenging is you're challenging the validity. And these companies, I'm telling you, they're not doing things in the right manner. All right. So again, you have now a good understanding as to how to build. You know where to go to build. Now let's focus on making sure that they get reported properly. This may mean taking on new debt, and new debt is okay. New debt is fine. There's good debt and then there's bad debt. A mortgage is a good debt because it allows for you to keep a roof over your head. A new car can be a good debt because it's going to allow you to get back and forth. It's going to allow you to maybe pick up an Uber or a Lyft gig, one of these new opportunities that are out there. It may allow you to do even other things. So new debt is not necessarily a bad thing as long as you're living up to the proper understanding of that contractual relationship. All right. Look for these features in any credit building tool. Report to all three credit bureaus. Again, as I said, I put that out there for a reason. I call it credit bureaus because I want you to understand they have nothing to do with the federal government. Tools that report to all three credit bureaus will help your credit the most. All three, okay? All three. You want to ask your bar or your lender, hey, do you report to all three? If they say, no, we only report to one or two, maybe you might want to reconsider. All right? If you're in that much of a hurry or a need, definitely want to reconsider because you want it to be reported to all three. Are these payments affordable? Many credit building transaction tools and methods require payments. If you can't afford them, you will hurt your credit and your finances. All right? If you can't meet that contractual obligation, don't get into it. All right? Take some time, get that credit score up to where it needs to be, and then revisit that opportunity. The opportunity is not going to go away. It just may be on pause for a minute or two. But it's not going to go away. It's not. Slow down. This year, I talked to my students, and since this whole debt ceiling conversation, that should not be a conversation, but since that's been ongoing, I've been making sure that my students understand you need to stop spending. There's no more spending. Hold on to your cash flow. Make sure that it's going on. If mom and dad are not using those credit building transaction methods and tools, you need to start introducing it to them. Because if they don't know it and you do, you would be doing yourself much of a greater good if you were to share that information. But holding on to it, students, you know what to do. Get out there and make sure mom and dad understands. And if they don't, call Tyrone. Erykah Badu has given everybody the permission to do that. All right, low interest and fees. Building credit is, supposed to save you money, not cost you money. The terms of loans. Look for loans with a 12-month term or greater for maximum impact on your credit. Make sure the loan is affordable. Again, 18, 19, 20%, not affordable. Those are default loans. Don't get yourself into situations like that. Build that credit up, and then once you've built it up, wait a few cycles, and then go out and get you that perfect, ideal credit product. All right? If it's a car and you're at 500 or 600, do not go buy a car unless it's 100% in need. And then once you do that, make sure that whatever you're going to be using that car for is going to help pay down that car. Because if you're using it just to drive around the neighborhood and you don't have the means to pay for it, then you're putting yourself into a situation where it's only going to hurt you. Default, repossession, foreclosure, garnishment, all these things hurt your credit report. They don't help your credit report. And if you have these items already on your credit report, not only do you need to call me, you need to definitely stay tuned to future shows and even go back and look at some of the shows that I've already done. How will your data be handled? Look for a clear privacy policy. You don't want your personal data to be sold. Absolutely not. The black web loves you. If you think that this is going to expose you even more, absolutely not. Your information is already out there. It's already out there. You need to do a better job at protecting it. We monitor our battery levels on our cell phone. We monitor our tire pressure. We monitor our oil. We monitor our gas. We monitor so many things in our lives, but we don't monitor the one thing that could put us on a financial path to success, which is our credit, and we don't even monitor it. That's again, something that we got to do better at. All right, whether you are adding new accounts or reporting old ones, you will have to manage your accounts effectively to build credit. It's just that simple. You will have to manage them effectively to build credit. And if you do that, I'm telling you now, it's going to make your life that much easier. You're going to be able to navigate through any type of circumstance, And that's the beauty of doing what is required. Once you do it once, it becomes a pattern. Once you continue to do that, it becomes everything that you want. And when you do that, I'm telling you now, it's only going to set you up for success. Only going to set you up for success. All right, so whether you are adding a new account or reporting old ones, you will have to manage your accounts effectively to build credit. Effectively. All right, managing them effectively. There's nothing more that I need to say. Use your tools effectively. Simply adding trade lines to your credit report will not build credit effectively. You will have to manage them as well. And here's what you need to do. All right, pay on time. No brainer. Pay on time. Make every payment on time. This is the single most important part of building credit. Making sure you pay on time. No getting around it. 65% of your overall credit score comes from two areas. Paying on time, which is 35, and your utilization. Meaning, I have to bring down. If I start at 0, which is down here, and I max it out, I got to bring it down to a certain percentage. And that percentage, according to the industry, has always been 30%. Now, I know a lot of us have been hearing this, oh, well, I can't use more than 30% of my credit. Well, if I got $1,000, you mean to tell me all I can use is $300? That's absolutely false. You can use the whole entire thing. You just got to remember there is a cycle that's paying attention to how you're making sure that you're using your credit responsibly and effectively. And if you do that according to the cycle, guess what? It's going to start at the algorithms. We're going to start picking up on how you're managing your credit and how you're using it more effectively. And this is what they have not been telling you, that there are algorithms, AIs, there's so much things that are being used against you that we, the citizens, are almost oblivious to what type of malfeasance and corruption. Yeah, there's some corruption in there. And it's very, very sad to have to keep saying that. Mix your accounts. You should try to have at least one revolving account, one installment account open to achieve a good credit mix. Now, the credit mix, again, that's all of the accounts that you may have. You may have a credit card with the Visa, MasterCard, or Discovery logo, or whatever entity is allowing these logos now to be put on your credit cards. You may have a store card that doesn't have any logo. It's just specific to that particular store. You may have some lines of credit. You may have alternative lenders. You may have subscriptions. You may have a mortgage. You may have an auto loan. You may have student loans. This is what they call that mix. And as long as you have a nice credit mix, it's going to always look attractive to potential lenders. All right, so always make sure that you're using those tools properly, paying on time, bringing down your utilization, and having a nice credit mix. Are the payments affordable? Many credit building transaction tools and methods require payments. If you can't afford them, they will hurt your credit and finances. Okay, make sure that you can meet your contractual obligation. Under a certain credit score, you want to use secured credit products because you probably will not be able to get the unsecured. Once you have reached a certain score, you will probably be able to get any unsecured, but they will charge you a higher interest. That interest on a secured product is your interest, so you're really not paying it. It's really important to understand that. If these companies are trying to charge you interest, or if you see 5 and 6 and 8 and 2 and whatever dollars, trust me when I tell you, you can get that back. You might not think you can, but you can, because as I stated, in order to be charged interest, they have to give you money. You can't be charged interest just because you got a card. That doesn't make any sense. Not at all. Go back to what interest means and then hold them accountable to that understanding. They can charge you a monthly fee, or they can charge you an annual fee, but that interest is only attached to unsecured products, not secured products. Know your stuff, people. Know your stuff. Watch your credit utilization. Keep the balance on your revolving accounts below 30%. My apologies. Below 30% of your credit limit. All right. So that means max it out if you want to. You have a certain time frame to bring it back down. You have to wait until at least 5 to 7 business days for that transactions or that payment cycle to actually make it to. Once it makes it to, then you're going to be good. Then you can reuse that product again. All right, so that utilization is super important. As I said, 30%. So if you got 35, which is your payment, you have another 30, which is your utilization. That's 65%. In any school that I've gone to, 65% is the passing grade. All right, you're going to get some ancillary points that are going to go with that passing grade already. That's only going to strengthen and make you that much more approachable and desirable by potential lenders down the road. Avoid hard inquiries. Hard inquiries are where you're seeking out a lender and that lender approves you. That would be considered a hard inquiry. If you're just doing your own inquiring about, that's not going to have an impact on your credit report. And a lot of these alternative lenders, they're using now these types of understandings. That is not going to have an impact on your credit report. So, but still, be very, very careful. If you're not asking the question, is this a hard inquiry or is this a soft inquiry? You're probably going to get hit with a hard inquiry. And then you're going to wonder why I didn't get the product. And then you're going to wonder why your score just went down. Applying for many types of credit, including some credit building transaction tools or methods, will place a hard inquiry on your credit report. Too many inquiries can hurt your credit score. No more than 5 inquiries per year. Anything more than that, you're going to have a problem. All right, watch your credit report. Review your credit report regularly and check for errors. The annual credit reporting process or the annual credit report site allows for you to get your credit report every week. So why are you not doing it? Why? Are there too many of you out there who like errors on your credit report? Are there too many of you out there who just don't want to ever see themselves in a financial situation that is positive? If that is the case, okay, there's no help for you. There's nothing we can do. But for those of you who are serious about making sure that you do have a standing within the financial realm or world that is positive, if that's what you want, Leverage Your Score is here to help you with that. If that's what you want, Soul City Network is here to help you with that. If that's what you want, Dr. Yana B, who does her show on Thursdays, same time slot, Access Wealth Nation. We're here to help you obtain and achieve those goals. Financial stability, financial literacy, financial intelligence, financial freedom. I can go on and on and on and on and on. We need these types of understandings because our most vulnerable are the ones that are getting it the worst. If we can help them with sustaining and maintaining and creating a situation that gives them the opportunities to see far beyond just the tunnel that has the light, but also through the tunnel, then they're going to have the opportunities that we should all be looking and searching for. All right, take your time. Building credit takes time, no matter what you hear on YouTube. There's no magic secret that will instantly improve your credit. None. Zero. None. Zero. Doing those illegal things are illegal. Okay? If anyone out there tells you, oh, we can do this and we can do this and we can do this and we can do this, just give me this, just give me that, it's illegal. All right? Be very, 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 very careful. Adding trade lines is a legal understanding. All right, legal understanding. Make sure that you understand, and anyone that you're doing business with, make sure that they're doing things above water. Anyone doing anything that's going to jeopardize your freedom, you really want to take a few minutes to think about that. Is this vehicle really that much worth it if I'm going to take somebody else's credit? Is this credit card really worth it? I'm listening to my students talk about scamming all the time. That's all they think about. Fast money, scamming, scamming, scamming. And I'm wondering where they're getting it from. They can't be getting it from us in the academic world because we don't talk about that. They must be getting it from these YouTubers. They must be getting it from those within maybe their households. But if you're doing anything, and it's just a matter of time, you can learn whatever you want to learn. Where you get yourself into trouble is when you execute. All right, so please be very, very careful. There is no magic secret to building credit. You have to put in the work. And if you put in the work properly, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get the proper results out. If you have no credit score or a thin credit file, credit building tools can be a valuable part of your credit building strategy. And as with trading, as with playing basketball, as with playing sports, as with playing anything, as with doing almost anything, there's strategies that you have to adhere to. And if you learn the strategies, playing Monopoly, playing board games, playing chess. Chess is a strategy game. Checkers. Understanding these strategies, they're only going to improve and help you navigate through to success. It's just that simple. But you got to want to learn the strategies more than those who are presenting it to you. When you have very little information in your credit file, anything new will have a visible impact. All right? Anything new. And you want to build upon that new. All right? If you have no foundation, well, then if you start adding trade lines, that's going to give you that foundation. Once you become financially literate and you become financially intelligent, it's going to strengthen that foundation. Then you need to find somebody like Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse who can then help you erect those walls. I've already told you what my lane is. My lane is credit. My lane is credit. I know it inside and out. I've challenged Equifax. I've challenged Experian. I've challenged TransUnion. I've challenged Vantage. I've challenged MyFICO. I've challenged Congress. I've challenged our elected officials. Any single one of them who ever want to appear on this show and dispute my information, you have an open invitation always. But guess what? In the 2-3 years that I've been doing this, not one. But again, open invitation anytime. CEOs, CFOs, presidents, boards. It don't matter. It don't matter. If you're that good and you know what you're doing is not hurting us, then please, by all means, step into my lion's den. If you have poor credit and a large number of trade lines in your credit report, adding new trade lines will have little or no impact. So it's really important to understand where these trade lines are coming, right? Where they're coming from. If you know they're being done properly, then guess what? Doing the business is going to help the business. You should focus on managing your existing accounts better, not adding new ones. So that means, again, if you have accounts that are already on your credit report and they are not so stellar, by adding new trade lines, it's not going to help. It's only going to create somewhat of a little bit of a delay and a problem. What you want to do is you want to simultaneously work on both reporting, making sure that it's getting reported and properly addressed, and then you want to equally start building, okay? Or reinventing the understanding that you already have. I know it's not good, so what do I need to do to improve upon that understanding? And once you do, it's going to get easier and easier and easier and easier and easier. So you have, again, all the tools, the mechanisms, everything you need to sustain and build a profile that's going to help you along the way. And that's what our job is. Our job is to help you. Our job is to help you improve while you, again, get to that next level. And if you do what you need to do, I'm telling you, you're going to be happy. Your life is going to turn out exactly in the manner in which it should. And that's all we want of all of our people, every single last one of you. We want you to be in a position that allows for you to benefit. And I don't know too many of us out there who always want to find themselves behind the 8 ball. And too many of us are there. And as I said before, our most vulnerable are the ones that I'm looking out for. I'm an advocate for our most vulnerable, my apologies. I am an advocate. I will be not only the advocate, but I will be the associate. I will be that individual who will be doing way more to make sure that our most vulnerable, our children, our seniors, have the ability to move successfully through this nation, this world, financially. That's my commitment to the most vulnerable. All right, so there we have it, folks. We talked about things that are super important to every single individual, and we want to make sure that you now have what you need. And if you don't, if you have not been able to find a willing participant, someone who wants to help you navigate through some of these complexities, then it's overdue time that you start looking out, that you start looking towards those who can help you the most. Leverage Credit Recovery is about helping you the most, about giving you all of the tools that you need to be successful, by giving you access to the experts, whether it be on a Tuesday, whether it be on a Saturday, whether it be on a Thursday. Know who are in your corner. Because I've said it before, you're either on my side, by my side, or you're in my way. It's just that simple. And our contact information is as follows. Phone number, 805-428-9424. Yes, I live in Yonkers, which is a 914 area code, but I've had my 805 number for almost 20-something years. And it's a beautiful thing. I love it. I know it like I know my Social Security number, which, again, I can tell you a horror story about how I even became to that Social Security number. Leverage Credit Recovery at gmail.com. Leverage Credit Recovery at gmail.com is where you can send your correspondence, questions, whatever it is that you may have on your mind. Get them out to us because we want to help. We want to help. And Linktree at Leverage Credit Recovery. Linktree at Leverage Credit Recovery. Again, go to Linktree /Leverage Credit Recovery, and there you'll find old videos, not old, but updated videos. There you'll find new information. There you'll find a lot of links that will help you get to where you may want to be next time. All right? It's all about you, folks. It's all about making sure that we have the abilities to help you. And if we do this properly, if we do this with the understanding that you are that number one focus, guess what we're going to be able to do? We're going to be able to make sure that you're going to be financially secure, that you're going to be financially stable, that you're going to have all of the understanding to move through what our Congress can't seem to get their heads past. They're supposed to help, but unfortunately they're not. So it's our job, us the experts, those of us who are smart, those of us who are intelligent, those of us who are savvy, those of us who are wise, those of us who understand. It's going to take a village to get us out of these horrible circumstances. And again, you must own up to yours too. And I tell my clients, as I tell my students, as I tell myself, as I tell everybody, 10% of your financial woes are yours to carry. 10. That's it. That's it. Because I can tell you right now, Congress has made it abundantly clear that it wasn't you who created your financial hardships and mishaps. All you got to do is go back and read some of those congressional reports that come out on a monthly by whatever time frame. I can't express it enough that, yeah, it's boring reading. It's 800 and 900 pages, sometimes some crazy amount of numbers. But guess what? What you learn from it, what you walk away with, is the understanding that you should have. Because all they do is give them a little slap on the wrist, and then they allow them to go back out there and create more malfeasance. We have emboldened Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. We have emboldened a lot of these companies that don't and only report to one, or they don't report at all. They only report when it's beneficial to them, and that's only when an account goes into the negative. That's when they report. These cable companies should not be allowed to report negative information, but they should be mandated to report positive information. These subscriptions and everyone else. You want to give me something, then I need something back in return, and I need positive reporting. You want to be an influence, or you want to help me financially, well, make sure that you're reporting my transactions. And you're reporting them according to the guidelines that you have to adhere to. Because I know what I have to adhere to. I have to pay on time, and I have to bring down my utilization. That's what I have to adhere to. I have to make sure that I have a nice credit mix. I have to make sure that my history is being reported properly. And in order for me to do that, I need you to do your part, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. And if you can't, then you need to get up out of the game. It's just that serious. It's just like I said to and about our elected officials. If y'all can't do the job, then what are you there for? Our lives are not a deal. They're not a deal. We are citizens, not cattle. All right? And y'all need to figure it out. You need to figure it out real fast, because this is not going to keep going in the manner in which you want it to go. That goes for the Biden administration. That goes for the MAGAs. That goes for the Republicans. That goes for the independents. That goes for those on the far left. That goes for those on the far right. You can't keep playing citizens thinking that we're stupid. Because the one thing that I, as an intelligent, smart, bright, savvy, well-rounded, understanding person knows is that I'm not stupid. And anytime somebody tries to play me for a fool, they're going to find out that, oh, you really messed with the wrong person. So with that being said, everybody, I want to thank you for allowing me to be part of your afternoon, for showing us that not only do you appreciate us, but you're back every single week. I'm always grateful to do what I do, which is make sure that you, the public, has what you need. Leveraging your score is part of my DNA. Making sure that you are financially fit, stable, and able to do what you need to do, not just for today, but for the future. It's super important that we get you there. If we do this properly, if we do this with the understanding, you're going to be set for the rest of your days. And I'm telling you now, you have 6 months. All right? Over these next 6 months, I want you to really start thinking about your spending. If you're still spending, while inflation is at 4.96, when 2 years ago it was at 1.32, you can't blame anyone. You have to look in the mirror and go, yep, that's my own fault. All right? You need to get a better hold on how you're using that money. If you're still going out there spending debit and cash, you're not going to build anything. You're going to help others build theirs. And you need to start making sure that everything that you're using when it comes to that credit, that is being reported properly. If it's being reported properly, you're going to be set up for success. My name is Tyrone Glover, and I am the Dress Down CEO of Leverage Credit Recovery. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking part in this show. Please follow up with us on Saturdays. Thank you so much, Dr. Yana B. Appreciate you. But thank you, everyone. Please be safe in your travels. Be safe as you go about these trying times. We love you. We appreciate you. Be safe, America.